Okay, so since we finished this exercise on the right hand side, let's take a look at the reading here on the left. It says, from the street to success. This is a typical success story about a man who had nothing and started his business and then became like an entrepreneur. So we are going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to read through this. So maybe have your pen or highlighters ready because we might come across some difficult or maybe vocabs or phrases that we might want to highlight. So, from the street to success. Let's read it together. John DeJoria, an American billionaire businessman, owns several companies, including John Paul Mitchell Systems, a successful brand of hair products. However, DeJoria was not always wealthy. He was the second son of immigrant parents and grew up in a very poor area of Los Angeles, California. Before forming his hair product company with only $700, he was a street gang member for some of his youth. He then worked at low-paying jobs, including encyclopedia salesman, janitor, and insurance salesman, and he was homeless twice. DeJoria's self-made rise is an inspiring story. So let's take a look at the keywords. The first keyword is billionaire, which means a person that is very, very rich. And he owns several companies, including the Mitchell system, Paul Mitchell. Girls maybe would probably know this. Paul Mitchell is a very famous hair product brand. It is actually all over the world. We also have it here in Taiwan. Okay. And but he wasn't always wealthy. Wealthy means rich. Okay. So he actually grew up in a very poor place, and he started to join gangs. You see the word street gang. What is a gang? Anybody know? A gang is like a group, and then they do bad things together. A little bit like bang pai, right? A gang, right? And he worked at low-paying jobs, okay, as an encyclopedia salesman. Encyclopedia, please highlight. Encyclopedia is what we call 百科全书 salesman. A janitor and insurance salesman. What's a janitor? A janitor is a person who cleans toilet, right? And he was homeless twice. Homeless means 无家可归, so he was homeless twice. And DeJoria's self-made rise is an inspiring story. Inspiring just means 很有启发性的故事. As a child, you were fairly entrepreneur, weren't you? My first job at 9 years old was selling Christmas cards door to door. At 10 years old, my brother and I had paper routes. We got up at 4 o'clock a.m., folded the papers, and delivered them, and then got ready for school. So this person, he had a pretty tough childhood, and he started working at 9. Do you remember what you were doing when you were 9 years old? Did you start working when you were 9 years old? Good question to think about, isn't it? Okay, so let's go on and take a look at the second paragraph. It says, as you got older, you continued to work. Is that right? Okay, let's stop here and then continue a little bit later because of the video. Okay, so let's continue to read the second part. As you got older, you continued to work. Is that right? The job that was one of the most influential experiences you can imagine was door-to-door selling encyclopedias. Doors literally slam in your face, maybe 30, 40 doors before the first customer will actually talk to you and let you in. Okay, so let's take a look at the keywords. Okay, as you get older, you continue to work. Is that right? Now, door-to-door salesperson is a very American cultured type of a job, which actually came with the growth of the country. Door-to-door just means that you would knock on doors and then you would introduce your product and then ask people whether or not they like to buy it. That's called a door-to-door salesman. It's a little bit like what they call in Taiwan 陌生拜访, right? It's a pretty difficult job. And the thing is, he said and mentioned here that doors literally means to like basically slam in your face. Brum, slam in your face. It's like 他们对你的脸关门. Okay, slam in your face. Maybe 30 or 40 doors before the first customer actually talk to you and let you in. So the door-to-door salesperson job is a very difficult job. And he says it was the most influential job though. Influential, if you take a look at the first line, the job that was one of the most influential, you see this word? Influential means 有影响力的, okay, is the door-to-door salesperson. Let's go on to the next paragraph. You've been homeless, haven't you? Yes, twice. Once when I was about 22 years old. The other time was when I started John Paul Mitchell Systems in 1980. I wasn't getting along with my wife at the time, so I had left and had given her all the money. We had a backer for John Paul Mitchell System, putting in $500,000. That money was supposed to arrive that day. I never got a penny, so I just slept in my car. And I slept in my car for the first 2 weeks when I started the company. So we started with humble beginnings. Okay, so what he mentioned was when he first started the Paul Mitchell system for the hair, the shampoo business, at first he had some money, or he was waiting for some money to come back in. So someone promised to give him money backer, but eventually nobody gave him the money, and he didn't even get a penny. A penny means 1 cent, 1毛, 美金. Okay, so he slept in his car for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's pretty tough. Okay, continue. Do memories of the streets motivate you? It sure makes you very appreciative of what you have in your life. Those who are homeless, like people with kids who are homeless, I really have a heart for. So I participate in a lot of charitable organizations that take the homeless off the streets. So, do you know of any homeless people? I guess we don't really have that much homeless people on the streets now in Taiwan compared to other countries. Okay.